Morning sun, but welcome to 50 Plus Home and Gardening. Today we're going to evaluate our bed and we're going to see what we want to take out, what really worked, and what didn't work. What plants we need to hide things like a jacuzzi or something like an air conditioner, what things we want to take out because it just didn't work for our climate. Maybe we have so much rain that it just went and it didn't work as well as other plants. So we're going to do a lot of writing, write down things, and we're also going to take pictures and remember just to look at the 4 seasons clearly so that your garden will be spectacular all season long. And make sure you have plenty of evergreens to look at once winter hits. So let's get started with this bed right now. I want to start off with these emerald greens. They are going to block the jacuzzi eventually. Look how stellar they are. They just keep going and going. I brought these all from another house. They're doing really well in the ground. I think they will get their sun amount, although I'm looking at what's coming ahead, and that is, this is my pom-pom redbud. He is bigger than I expected. I'll stand back and look at him. He is a 1-trunk tree, and he's going to get 25 feet eventually, so these emerald greens will be in the shade eventually, but these will get 8 feet, so they will have their tips in the sun, as well as this one. This one I may have to limit up and do some topiary. Maybe I need to cut like that. This was in a pot at another house. It wasn't very big, and now of course, it's in the ground, so it likes its life here, but I eventually want it to cover the jacuzzi also. So everything is going to help make sort of a private, fully bushy, not hardscape kind of a look. So I want it to be lush and green with different things. This has kind of a blue green. This is a really lime green, and this one has kind of a yellow green. So let's talk about this redbud, pom-pom redbud. It took a little while to kind of establish itself, and it has beautiful pink buds in the spring. I'm going to have to trim it up, though. It seems it's like a wild guy. And you can trim these anytime, a few limbs at a time. Just kind of say, well, I don't really want that because it's in my face. Just cut it off. Don't worry about trees. They do like a bit of pruning, but I do like the way this is looking. So I've got an evergreen. I've got an evergreen here, an evergreen, and this is deciduous. So this will go away in the winter time. So whenever I plan my gardens, I like to think what's going to stay in the winter and what is going to be plain. Also, this camellia, this will also be here in the winter time, fully dressed with its leaves. Right underneath this redbud, here's what I have. I have a lot of things that you can eat for now because I really don't know what I want. This is an amaryllis from my neighbor. It is pink, beautiful. It's called Rosy Star. It didn't do much this year. I actually transplanted it, and I didn't get any blooms, and his are already blooming this year, and they look fabulous. But I'll see what it does next year. He said he was going to give me a few more bulbs, and I'll be planting them all over here. So they're fabulous. All right. I didn't know if these pumpkin seeds that were from last year's pumpkin would come up, and boy, every one of them came up, so I'm very happy about that. And there are some more back there in the cage. The cage is just decoration, fun. It's not hiding anything, but they're under there, and they look really fun. This is the bubblegum Supertunia Vista. The Vista series is the largest. This thing last year, I mean, it's going to cover this whole area. So I like to have it there because it gives a pop of color, and it's kind of has this true pink I really, really like it, and it's just going to fill in this area. And then I have beets, which I had from seed packets, and these lettuce. Look at these. This series is called Heat Wave from Burpee, and in the Heat Wave series, the lettuce, they have different kinds of lettuce in the pack, so they don't mind the heat so far. We had 85 degrees, and they love themselves. And my tomatoes. These are the Veranda series. They only get 1 by 1, and they're like cherry tomatoes. This one has a little yellow leaf. It may have too much water. I'm not sure. But until I figure out what I want, I had so many Veranda seeds, tomato seeds, that I put them all the way around the edge. We're still under this pom-pom redbud, and I have, this is the Oscar pink dianthus. Well, you really can't see it in the camera as much as I'm looking at it, but it has kind of a salmon color and tons of buds. This will be producing all summer. So I'm going to enjoy its beauty, and I think this is a keeper, and I love it. That's what you want to look for, something that is going to produce flowers for you without a lot of maintenance. I really don't have to do much to that. Here's more lettuce while I'm still thinking of what I want to do here. Look at these. Aren't these so pretty? They're loving their lives. Look at this. And here's one that's got kind of a variegated rust on it. And here's that same one with that rust. The packet doesn't really say what they are, so you just kind of have to let them grow. I think I recognize a few as romaine, and maybe one of them was an iceberg, but this is a really nice one. I really like that one. So while you're thinking of what you want to do in your garden, you can actually produce things that are low maintenance and low to the ground, just as in a front cover until you figure out what you want. I'm not sure if I want phlox. I have to see how they do with the bunnies. So there's some creeping phlox there. I cut it back. It looks okay, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a star. So I'm still debating whether I want to cover all of this with the creeping phlox. This is a new area, new soil, and so you always have to say what is going to grow well here. All right, these are powering down. These are all those daffodils. Those are the pimpernel. And then we're going to come up here. Look at these. Coral berry heuchera, and that's from Monrovia. And they have fun pink flowers on the top. And these are the ones that we cut. We split them in half, like directly. I just cut them right in half, and I got 3 more out of them. And now they're super big. I cut them all the way back to the ground to a little less than a fist. And now they are producing really well. I really like them. They're going to get slightly bigger. I think it said 12 by 12. They're a little bit smaller than that, but they look fabulous. I like the color in here. A good impact, along with maybe some lime, is a little red. So I love heucheras. This area, you have to try out everything. Don't spend a lot of money until you've tried it out and make sure that your area can handle how your environment is, whether it's got a lot of rain, and how is it going to withstand. We have a lot of rain, 4 inches all of a sudden, and they're still popping up and they're looking good. So once this goes away, these will be the star in this area. All right, and right behind here is the famous Boom Chocolata. The only reason why I had to get this, I'm not sure about the color for me. It stands okay against the yellow, especially the purple flowers. This is a plant from Proven Winners, but it's pretty dark. And I'm really a happy girl, so I don't really like a lot of dark things. I don't really like black leaves and things like that. This is probably as dark as I would ever want to go. It has a bit of a green and the purple. If you look real close, here's a bunch of new buds, and here's how they come out. I think they're pretty. This is a dark and gloomy day because it just rained, but I don't know. I'm keeping it because of the name, because Jeffrey just thinks it's funny. He likes to say it. So this is sort of his plant, but I actually like that color of green if I have to have it on a leaf, but it's fine. Maybe I need to get like maybe a lime heuchera here that would contrast with that, and I would like it a lot better. Okay, this is the Boom Chocolata. And right next to this, we have a little surprise. Look at this. This came out of nowhere, just on its own. They must have planted it a long time ago, and it finally produced a few leaves. This looks like one of those Japanese painted ferns, kind of variegated. It was a little bit more gray at one time, maybe because it's hidden by this other plant. But I hope it grows. I don't know how big it's going to go, but I am going to leave it here and water it and see how it looks in the garden. If I really like it, I may divide some of it and put it in other places, but it looks like it may need a lot of shade. I'll have to read up on those kind of plants. Ferns do like shade. So you can see it's right there in the back. It's not going to be very showy. I may have to cut it, put one here on its own, but this does have the east sun. If it really likes dark shade, you just have to kind of see if things work in your garden. All right, we already talked about this. This is the Black Hill spruce. I love its leaves. They're kind of blue. And like I said, I brought this from another house. It was just in a pot, and I liked it because it was evergreen. So I just planted it. This is going to be big. It's going to be 15 by 25 feet high, and it may kind of outlive this area, but I don't mind. You know, plants sometimes take a long time to get to their big self. I do want it to cover the jacuzzi. So let me give you more of a high view. You see, it's got lots of room to grow. So you can see that it's not done of what I want of it, and so it can stay here as long as it's doing the trick. This is a really nice camellia bush. And what it was when I first came here, it was down here. It was already here, so I don't really know the brand or what kind it is, but I trimmed it up into a tree. So anytime you get a bush that gets too fat and then you have no more room to do stuff on the bottom, you can limb them up. It really doesn't matter what it is. That is kind of called topiary in itself. So I limbed it how I like it, and I also keep it flat up here. So it kind of has a bonsai look. Then all the planting is right here. So all the flowers, they're bright pink, are just going to come right here. I really like that. It's a good plant. And you can see it's right next to our kitchen window. I look at the birds coming up here. They do nest in here sometimes, little birds, because it is an evergreen. You have showy leaves all winter, and you also get those pink flowers in the fall. So it's kind of has a burgundy leaf right now, and it will turn kind of a bright, happy pink in the fall. So that's a nice color. That's something I'm going to want to think of because a lot of these things will be done. You can see how many branches I took out, big ones. I usually try to do most of the cutting in the winter around February if I'm going to cut large tree trunks like this. This is a pretty big area, so I would wait till winter, till kind of things are kind of dying down and sleeping, and that's how I do it. You can look it up too to make sure that you're doing it at the right season, but you can cut large branches like this. Now, look at this. That's Solomon's seal. They have beautiful little seed flowers, kind of like on the bottom of them. My friend Nancy gave me these. They will, it's a perennial. And what it is she just gave me one plant, and now I have about, one, two, three, four, about 5 of them now. So they will kind of probably go to about 1.5 feet, and then you may have to control them if you don't want them all over. Solomon seal also likes the shade, so I keep it in the back so that it has protection even on the east side of the, it's not in the north, we're in the east side of the property. And then you can't barely see it. You see that? That is ajuga that is variegated. It's called Burgundy Glow, and it just didn't like it in my Williamsburg garden, so I moved it over here. There's one piece of it, and there is another piece of it. It has beautiful, kind of a bright purple flowers, and those are already done. They're in the spring, and after they bloomed, I came and I divided them and I put them over here. So they will spread and grow probably 12 by 12 and probably 6 inches tall. So they're nice if you just want like a spreader, because I don't really like all this dirt. So I'm trying to look for good spreaders that are around here. And I'm trying this over here on the east side and see if it will have a chance. The heuchera is going to block it a little bit. And heuchera is like a little bit of protection too. So they're doing okay right here because they get full sun in the morning and then no more in the hot sun of the west sun. So these are really good. And here's some shade Solomon. I'm not sure what it's called, but Japanese painted fern. And the Boom Chocolata is all in the shade in the background. So I will think of other shade things to go along with these. All right, this Eskimo Sunset Japanese Maple was just a stick. It was probably this large when I first got it. And it looks so pretty in the picture, as they normally do. I've never tried this. This is only supposed to get 10 feet. It has some pretty leaves, but I don't know. Maybe there's just so much variation and variegated leaves that it looks a little messy. Like at the same time, it has this really pretty. It has this and this and this. It's sort of like, I call it it's crazy, but I wanted it because look. As the leaves age and when it's windy, they reveal the backs of their leaves, which I find kind of interesting because look, let me see if I can get one. Oh, these aren't done yet. Look, they're the same color as the heuchera, so I kind of liked it because of the back of it, but you can't hardly ever see it. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about this. I may move it so it has more pleasing elements. You know what would be a good idea? It really doesn't like the sun too much, and so I think it may get scorched on the top of it. Certain Japanese maples really like the shade. I may move it back here so it has this yellow to kind of bring out the lime yellow. Let me think. So you have this, maybe bring this back here, and then the Boom Chocolata. That may look pretty good. All right, so if I have to evaluate this, I want to say the 4 seasons, what am I going to want in this? Of course, the lettuce is going to go away, and the beets, and the tomatoes eventually. So those aren't permanent. Those are just like annuals, like this Super Tunia is just an annual. So that's not what I'm going to want. In fact, what's in this pot is one pepper plant and a bunch, those are radishes. See those? So everything in here is an annual. I think of annuals as a temporary thing to fill in while you're waiting for your perennials to either fill in, or if you just don't know what you want yet. Sometimes I get a garden and you don't want to fill it up crazy and then waste your money and say, well, I didn't want that, I didn't want this. That's a lot of money. And as we get older, we don't want to have a lot of time going and bending over and then we decide we don't like it. So the best thing I can do is take pictures right now, and I'm gonna remember that I may want that over here. So I'll have that in my mind. All of this green, I actually really like this lime green in here because the heucheras are very dark. The Solomon seal has a darker green, but it's got a little bit of a white trim so it stands out, but not much stands out. So maybe I'm gonna want something. I would love to put a sedum or something low that is nice and lime green. They have a lot of sedums. You can just pick a variety and put it in. That may look good in the front of this garden. So those are some decisions I want to write down on paper, and I want to see how many evergreens do I have. 1, 2, and let's see, where are the emerald greens? They're right there. Okay, and so I can say, what's going to be, actually the heucheras do pretty well in the wintertime. Oh, and I forgot all about my boxwood. This is the Green Mountain boxwood. Its tendency is to grow more upright than it is wide. And if you remember, we've got a little piece right up here, and that was when we were doing topiary, and I'm trying to let another ball grow, so it'll be a kind of a this will make it more prissy in this garden. Very clean, neat, and kind of a tidy look. So I like a little bit of that with some whimsy and kind of fluffy, but sometimes I like something tight like a boxwood. And we're just waiting for this one to catch on, and it will make another sphere. So if I stand back and look at it, this will have a ball like this, and you have to go, okay, this is evergreen, the emerald greens are evergreen, this is not, and this is. So I have a good amount. Well, actually, this creeping phlox is an evergreen, if it will survive. It didn't do too well this winter, so I'm going to check it out. And we're just going to have to keep evaluating things. You can put really shady things under here, maybe some hostas. That would be nice. So come outside at least 4 seasons and see how the same garden is. Take the picture in this spot, this spot, this spot, the same spots each time, and see how you like it as the season goes on. If this struggles all summer long, take it out. It's not worth keeping. If this was something that was always turning brown and you have to struggle with it, the more money you have to spend in a garden, it's just going to get, that's going to be hard on your budget, and it's going to be hard on you. So just get rid of it. It's not worth dealing with. We're too old to have a problem child now, right? So put things in that make you happy, that have little to do, like this dianthus. There's not much to deal with that, and I'm pretty happy with it. I don't have to bend over and pick it all the time. I don't do anything to this, nor this. The emerald greens are fabulous. So any of those North Poles, emerald greens, any of those long, tall pole types, they're beautiful for covering something, to just make things look neat and tidy, and also an evergreen interest in the wintertime. So just keep standing back, have paper ready, come out at least 4 times a year with pen and paper and write down things that you remember about this certain garden that you need to deal with or put in. That will make this a fabulous garden. taking pictures is so helpful of every angle of your garden. Will help you to see what's empty. Pictures really say a lot, and they don't lie. And then go inside and write down some of the things you've heard of. Go online, study them, watch other garden shows. If I'm going to pick creeping phlox, maybe there's a hybrid out there that I hadn't heard of. If I study up on it, look it up online on Google, and see how it works in most people's garden, that's where your success will come from. So keep moving, keep gardening, and stay creative. And I'll see you next time.